Why do the most brilliant minds often feel the most isolated? Why does intelligence, something we're told to value, so often lead to silence, detachment, even loneliness? It's not that highly intelligent people dislike others, it's that most people just don't get them. This video will uncover the subtle, uncomfortable truth that highly intelligent people often prefer to be alone, not because they're broken, but because their mind runs on a different wavelength. A deeper one. 1. The 1%. For highly intelligent people, many social situations feel surprisingly isolating. They meet new people just like anyone else, but they rarely find someone who truly matches their intellect. Suppose only 1 in 100 people is highly intelligent. What are the odds that any random encounter will lead to someone who thinks like you? This is the silent struggle intelligent people face every time they socialize. Most people eventually meet someone who thinks like them. But for the exceptionally smart, that connection is rare. So instead of constantly searching for understanding, many of them choose solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because very few truly get them. 2. Erratic routines. Some of the most brilliant people live by the strangest schedules. They work at night, sleep through the day, and follow rhythms that defy convention. Their jobs are unusual, their hobbies are uncommon, and their lifestyles rarely fit neatly into society's boxes. It's not rebellion, it's rhythm. They live by their own internal clock, and most of the world just isn't on the same time zone. That's why many of them find solitude not only peaceful, but necessary. 3. The pickiest friends. Smart people are selective, not because they're snobs, but because their standards are high, and their minds are sharp. They notice flaws quickly, they spot inconsistencies, and often they imagine a dozen reasons why someone isn't worth the risk. That pickiness? It's protection. A highly intelligent person knows how deeply a bad relationship can hurt, so they use their brain to build walls. Not because they want to stay alone forever, but because they've learned it's better to be alone than to be misunderstood, manipulated, or drained. 4. Intellectual stimulation. Many brilliant people prefer to be alone because their best conversations happen in their own minds. Self-talk isn't a sign of loneliness, it's a form of thinking out loud. It's how they explore ideas, test theories, and challenge themselves. They talk to themselves, not out of loneliness, but because it's one of the few ways they feel mentally challenged. And honestly, it works. For the highly intelligent, inner dialogue can be more stimulating than small talk. 5. The odd man out. Most people fear being the odd one out. They crave inclusion. They chase trends and mimic lifestyles they don't even like, just to feel like they belong. But intelligent people? They'd rather sit alone at the edge of the room than fake their way into acceptance. They don't envy others or try to keep up. Their fulfillment comes from within, not from fitting in. 6. Extra weight. In group settings, intelligent people often feel like they're carrying more than their share. Not because others aren't trying, but because they just see the solution faster. They understand the process more clearly. And when things slow down, it's often because they're waiting for everyone else to catch up. That doesn't make them arrogant, it makes them tired. So rather than explain their every move, they'd rather work alone. Not to show off, but to stay in flow. 7. Frivolous interactions. For most people, socializing is fun and relaxing. It's how they unwind, how they connect. But for highly intelligent individuals, it's often just noise. They don't hate people. They just don't like wasting time. And casual, small talk, gossip, or surface-level chatter? That's time they could spend thinking, building, creating, or learning. It's not that they don't enjoy connection, it's that they prefer it with depth. 8. Patterns of strangeness. Only a small percentage of people are highly intelligent, and only a small percentage truly enjoy solitude. So when both traits show up in one person, it looks strange to everyone else. But for them, it's natural. Their preferences don't follow the crowd. They don't crave constant interaction or the validation that comes with popularity. What energizes others often exhausts them, and that mismatch becomes a pattern. The more they try to fit in, the more alone they feel. 9. Small social circles. Smart people don't collect friends, they build connections. Deep ones. They don't need 10 causations to feel socially fulfilled. One great one will do. They keep their circles small, not because they're cold, but because they're efficient. They value depth over breadth, meaning over momentum. And the friends they have? Those are the ones who get them. That's more than enough. 10. Unusual expectations. Highly intelligent people often see the world through a different lens, sometimes logical, sometimes artistic, sometimes both, but their views don't always align with society's expectations. As a result, others may find them difficult to relate to, or even strange. But the feeling is mutual. The more intelligent someone is, the more they notice patterns that others miss. And when people act against logic or values, it's not just confusing, it's exhausting. So instead of constantly fighting to be understood, they retreat into the one space that makes sense: solitude. 11. Everyday misunderstandings. Smart people often think fast, so fast that they skip steps in conversation without realizing it. To them, the dots are already connected. But to others, it can sound like a leap. And when those misunderstandings pile up, when people keep saying, "I don't get it," or "You're overthinking," something breaks. Not their mind, but their patience. Rather than slow down every thought, they'd rather be quiet. Be alone. It's not about arrogance, it's about peace. 12. Solitary stimulation. Some of the most fulfilling experiences for intelligent people are solo experiences: reading, writing, researching, creating. These activities don't require crowds, they require clarity. Focus. That's why solitude isn't a fallback, it's a preference. It's where their brain gets to stretch, explore, and fully breathe. For the intelligent, time alone isn't empty, it's overflowing. 13. Tedious explanations. For intelligent people, teamwork often comes with a hidden cost: explanation. They're constantly having to justify their ideas, break things down, and defend their decisions. And that process? It's exhausting. By the time they've explained everything, they've lost momentum, and the spark is gone. That's why they prefer to work alone. It's not about being difficult, it's about staying sharp. 14. Real social value. Some people chase approval. Intelligent people chase meaning. They don't need applause to feel validated. They need purpose. And that purpose rarely comes from parties, group chats, or popularity. They value deep work, clear goals, and personal growth. So when they withdraw, it's not rejection, it's redirection towards something more real, more fulfilling. 15. Pointless conflicts. Drama is the noise that distracts from growth, and highly intelligent people hear that noise louder than anyone. They see through petty arguments, power plays, and social games, and they have no patience for them. They don't argue for fun. They don't fight to win status. They step back, walk away. Not because they're weak, but because they know what really matters. So why do highly intelligent people prefer to be alone? Not because they hate people, not because they're broken, but because the world often moves at a different pace, asks different questions, values different things. And when your thoughts are deeper, your needs change, your standards shift, your silence becomes sacred. They don't isolate to escape others, they isolate to return to themselves. In solitude, they find clarity, focus, freedom. It's not loneliness, it's alignment. If you've ever felt like the room was too loud, the conversations too shallow, the world too chaotic, maybe you're not antisocial. Maybe you're just thinking on a different frequency. And if that's the case, don't apologize for it. But now we want to hear from you. Do you find comfort in solitude? Or are you someone who thrives in connection? Let us know in the comments below, and if this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to PsychVerseX for more deep dives into the human mind.